welcome to Trashy Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and a look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I am your host.
And my name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. My goodness, did I just hear a very funny half of a conversation just now?
Me dictating a
Yeah.
grocery list?
Yeah. So Erica's partner called and said, "Hey, I'm going to go to the store, grab a few things. Do you need anything?" And she specifically ordered a Caesar salad, a zinger, and an orange, singular. So she wanted a Caesar salad. In what form, I don't know. And then a zinger, which is only sold in boxes, like a little Hostess cake, and then an orange.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that something you're going to eat all at the same time?
Who can say? Who can say?
It was so fucking specific. I mean, even and you know what's funny is that Winston said, "What do you need an orange for?" Like that's what stuck out. You must have a Caesar salad and a zinger as a meal frequently, but the orange is what threw him off.
Caesar salad, a frequent buy of ours. It's an easy lunch.
Uh-huh.
The other day, we stopped at a 7-Eleven late at night, and I said, he's like, "Do you want anything?" And I said, "Get me some kind of sparkling water and get me devil's fingers." He goes, "What?" And I said, "Devil's fingers." And he's like, "That's not a thing." And I go, "No, the little, it's a little chocolate dessert with a little row of icing on them, and then they're filled." And he's like, "Okay, I'll look." And I was like, "Devil's fingers, duh." And then he comes out with a box with a little package of zingers. And he's like, "Is this what you meant?" I was like, "Yes, zingers, devil's finger." Yeah, you get it. He's had to do this much. He's had to do so much interpreting for me over the years. If I say something and he's like, "Oh, this is what she means," like he just knows instinctually.
Isn't that the point of a relationship?
Absolutely. Yeah. I will say things incorrectly. I will misremember. I don't know brand. Like it's a wash. If I go to the grocery store and somebody's like, "Pick up blank brand," I'm like, I don't know what that is. If somebody's like, "Oh, what's your favorite brand of mustard?" I'm like, I don't know.
Who the fuck would ask that? That's my answer to that.
I just have
brand of mustard.
Yeah.
I don't like squeeze. Like, how about my favorite type of mustard? Your favorite brand?
Brand names. It's literally as if I have like some type of wash or like a filter over my eyes. I could tell you like 2 brand names of foods. And so I'm like, this one. And I try to describe a label that's like very vague. It's like there's a lady on the box, and he's like, "Okay, I'll do my best." And somehow he always finds it. So
those are your Dolly Parton cakes. There's a lady on the box. A lady I like.
A lady I like. Yeah, it's like very specific to me. And he's like, "Okay." So yeah, I can never let this man go because no one will ever be able to relearn all of my things and idiosyncrasies. So yeah. But yeah, an orange. That was a draw. That was a specific draw. I just felt like I needed something, some vitamin C today. I was getting scurvy, fighting off the scurvy.
There's more vitamin C in a jalapeno than there is in an orange.
That's great to know. I did not. I wish these sailors would have been eating jalapenos.
Yarg.
Why you trash gas?
So I don't know if this is a specific one, although it does work. Sometimes when I drink a little too much, things will occur and I'll go, "I should say that on the podcast." And so I'm just looking at my list, and I have one in here that it must have been written when I was drunk, and it just says 4-step fartin'.
Dolly Parton. That's what you meant. That's
nope. I'm pretty sure I meant 4-step fartin'. I must have been drunk, hopefully in my house, and just walked a step and farted each time, thus making me write down 4-step fartin'.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that the American dream? You pull your stuff up by your bootstraps, you get a roof over your head, that you can just drink yourself silly and toot every step in the comfort of your own home, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I'm looking out the window right now and it's drizzling, it's raining. You couldn't fucking pay me to leave my house. Like I just want to be here and just, fart. So
Yeah, no.
maybe that's not why I'm trash. Maybe that's why I'm a hero.
Sometimes the line between hero and trash it's razor thin.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
sometimes things are both. I think we
Yeah.
know that. I think we get
Yeah.
that. Why are you trash?
Okay. So the other day I had a work meeting and I started the Google Hangout and
Mhm.
I realized I turned the camera off. I slacked the person. I was like, hey, I'll be right there. What I did not do is I had my earbuds in
Uh-oh.
and they were connected to my computer, not my phone. I had not muted the meeting. I went to the bathroom. And then so I just turned off the Bluetooth on my phone thinking, oh, now my earbuds are not connected to my phone. No one can hear me. I proceeded to go to the bathroom, flush the toilet, wash my hands. And on my walk back to my, 8 feet round trip, basically, I realize, oh no, your earbuds are connected to the computer, to the meeting you started, where your coworker is sitting, probably having heard you go to the bathroom, flush a toilet, and is just sitting there pretending as if they did not.
Yeah, man, what do you do? Like, do you just let it go because everyone has to pee and it was a simple mistake, or do you call it out?
So I let it ride.
Mhm.
And then we met in person for the first time, like, a couple weeks after. And I said, after we got to know each other a little bit, a day or two in, I said, hey, I have a question for you. And they're like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, do you remember the meeting we had the other day? And he was like, and I said, I had my headphones in. Did you? And I explained the situation. And I was like, did you hear me go to the bathroom and flush the toilet? And he was like, no, but now I know that happened. And I was like, that's fine. It is what it is, but I just had to know. Either way, I'm
Yeah.
fine that it happened. I just had to know if you heard it. he just laughed and we all had a jolly good time. But I was like, okay, I just had to know if it happened.
It's like you've learned nothing from doing this podcast.
I know.
Like,
I know.
but you had your video turned off, so I guess that's
Yeah.
at least good.
I mean, yeah, my computer stayed in the same spot, but the headphones in, and I was just like thinking, how do I ever face this person again? Do I have to get a new job? Do I move? Do I change my name entirely? Like,
Not for peeing. If you were taking like a wicked growler or something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
wicked growler?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Goodness. My goodness. Oh my goodness.
If your name was Stanley and you were taking a steamer, tough on dirt, better on carpet. Was Stanley Steamer wasn't a local thing, was it?
I think we had Stanley Steamer, or it might have been a regional thing. We may have had
I think I only saw it. I saw it in Colorado's Stanley Steamer, tough on dirt, gentle on carpet. And it was for like to get your carpets cleaned. But
let's see.
Or it's a very specific shit joke.
LA, Los Angeles Stanley Steamer. It seems like it's a national, it seems like it's a brand established in 1947. Yeah.
I didn't want that joke to be too niche. Anyways,
yes. Speaking of a niche hobby,
yeah,
it seems like hitchhiking has kind of gone the way of a niche endeavor. So
I mean, with all the killers out there.
True. And this first story comes to us from the grand old state of Oklahoma.
Oh, your home state.
My home state. In Logan County, Oklahoma, the story comes to us from KFOR.com. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper says a man hitchhiked a ride and hung on for dear life to the back of a semi-truck. His journey started in Wichita, Kansas, before finally being caught in Logan County, Oklahoma.
100 fucking miles at highway speeds, like this guy was hanging on before other drivers were able to get him to pull over. Dude, that would have fucked me up.
I like the finger grip this gentleman must have had.
Yeah.
OHP officer said that the man, Trooper Foster, said that the man, the hitchhiker, we'll just say the hitchhiker, is lucky to be alive after his morning joyride. Several drivers were calling 911. And it's like, when you get a call like that, you're like, oh, is that what they're really seeing? Or is there something else going on? As if multiple people are drunk and hallucinating on the road.
I mean, it's Oklahoma and it's early.
Yes, true. That's true. So the semi actually itself pulled over because other drivers on the roadway started to flag him down and to pull over. He had no idea someone had been hitching a ride for, 100 miles on the back of his truck.
Over an hour.
Jeez. I mean, I feel like that's like a plot of a movie. Like people would climb up between the cab and the hall, but to just grip on.
You ever see Free Solo?
That man makes me so irate.
Dude, fuck that guy. Okay, but we can't get into him right now. That's a whole other show. I would love to do a special trashy where we just rewatch Free Solo and talk about this guy. But
we evolved from like ooze, right? Like primordial beings. And we've been fighting fucking saber-toothed tigers and mastiffs, our whole diseases, our whole goddamn life. And this guy's like, you know what I'm gonna do?
Eat cereal off of a plate with a spatula.
And just climb the up and down side of a mountain with no guard. Like, I'm just gonna defy all of my ancestors' will to live. Ugh,
clearly you and I had different takeaways because his lack of plateware is what pissed me off the most. Not that he was a fucking idiotic rock climber. Anyways, Free Solo guy lives out of a van, duh. And he's got like a fucking pull-up bar in his van, and that he hangs on with his little fingertips, like, to practice. So that must be like, this guy, I bet, can probably free solo.
Yeah, we should channel his talent into something else. 100%. You're right. Everyone has different skills in life, and we just need to, when they're young, identify that and channel that energy. And that's what we should have done with the two young people in our second story from news.artnet.com.
Two boisterous kids smashed a $64,000 glass sculpture of a Disney castle at the Shanghai Museum of Glass. Why the fuck are kids allowed in the Museum of Glass?
Thank you. My first question. Great. Should there be an age limit in a thing called the Museum of Glass?
Yes. Also, yeah. And maybe more glass around the glass. I don't know. Who am I to say? But
barbed wire, armed guards.
Yeah. It was the world's largest glass sculpture with 30,000 pieces. That's unbroken.
It took 500 hours to create and includes a 24-karat gold spires, multiple. Jeez.
So it was made by the Arribas brothers, who specialize in Disney collectibles, and the damaged castle was the work of their nephew, Miguel Arribas. Oh, sorry. Yes, the nephew of the Arribas, whatever, it doesn't matter. The Arribas family makes this shit. This art. But what?
I just read the next paragraph. I got excited. I'm so sorry.
Say it.
The little visitors knew that their behavior was inappropriate.
Oh.
And under the encouragement of their parents, reported the incident to the museum staff. Their attitudes were friendly and sincere, and they agreed to help with the follow-up matters.
What?
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted all of that. I thought it was like they knew it was inappropriate and their parents encouraged the behavior, but no, it was like they immediately knew they were wrong. Their parents encouraged them to do the right thing and report it. Got it. Okay. I misinterpreted. I was trying to scandalize what was not scandalous.
Okay.
I need some more media literacy because I was like, oh, this is fun, but that's not what it was,
Once we get through, what is it, 100 hours to perfect something?
10,000 hours, I think.
Okay, I guess because we've already done 100,000 hours or 100 hours of this. Oh my God, help me. You and me both. We're about a tenth of the way there to
Yeah.
finally getting good at this. So the museum, of course, apologizing to everybody since they can only display the castle now in its imperfect space or state. And we're sorry if this negatively affects your museum experience. But there's people in the comments saying like that the parents should compensate the full amount that this costs to fix because they should have to pay for having shitty kids. Like as if they are happy.
Yeah. You're humiliated.
Can you imagine you're a fucking parent and like you're just trying to get some goddamn sunlight, so to do something nice for this fucking family. I've eaten dinner over the sink for 2 weeks because you kids won't fucking relax. I try to do one nice thing because you love Disney. I said, fine, let's take them to the Shanghai Museum of Glass so they can see this Disney castle. And you fucks go and you fucking break it.
Oh my God. So this isn't the first time that children have run amok in this glass museum.
Of course not.
In 2016, 2 kids ignored protection barriers and tugged on a delicate glass sculpture until it broke. Not only did their parents make no attempts to stop them, museum security footage revealed that the adults were filming the entire incident on their phones.
Is everyone just like kind of like crazy in the glass museum?
I feel like there must be some type of like it sits on some kind of like gas reserve, and there's like like you know what I mean, like gas is like
Yeah.
leaking up into the building, and everyone's kind of like, you know what I could do? And also when you see something delicate, like is there not something in you for like a fraction of a second where you're like, I could smash this shit?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think that, and in kids, that voice is just a lot. Ours is very quiet.
Mm.
But in kids, it's the same volume, but because their ears are smaller, it's a lot louder.
I'd
The
love
maths.
I'd love to have a moment where I can just like fling plates at a wall.
Oh, like one of those breaking rooms.
Yeah, but almost like a little bit more unpredictable. Like it's almost like the rampage rooms or whatever. Like that seems like a very fun thing to do,
Mhm.
but the spontaneity of it just doesn't work for me because I have permission.
Yeah.
Like I want like a random day to just like walk by a restaurant and go, hey, you guys still open? And they're like, no, we're actually all walking out of our jobs today. But hey, how would you like to throw all these plates against the wall with us? And I'd be like, for real? And they're like, yeah, we're going on strike. Our boss takes all of our tips. And I go, he what? And then me and that staff destroy things. That's like a fantasy. Like if I was going to pay a company to be like, hey, like make a porn for me, because people do that, like
Yeah.
that's what I would pay for. I would pay for that scenario. But instead of like having sex after, they're like, hey, thanks for smashing all this stuff for us. By the way, the place across the street has really good milkshakes.
Yeah.
Do you want to get one with us? And I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And they're like, what's
Yeah.
your Insta? I'll follow. And I'm like, I'll follow you guys back. Like that's my porn.
Mine's like, hey, the place across the street has an amazing chicken parm. And we have if you tell them this code, they'll give it to you for free because we have like a deal.
Yeah.
That would be my
discount
version.
codes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a discount code, and and we'll all follow each other on Insta. Yeah. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, that's my porn.
So
Yeah, we're
funny.
never gonna touch each other. Yeah, that's my
God,
porn.
no, but there will be lingered looks. There'll be longing looks.
Oh, of course, because it's like we just had adrenaline together. That's a bond. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Let's talk about the next story. It's getting a little too hot here.
Ooh. From people.com. Miss USA 2022, Arbonne Gabrielle denies allegations that pageant was rigged in her favor.
Well, of course. What else should she do?
So the current allegations are based on perception and not the truth, she tells People in a statement.
So she was the first Filipino American winner. And shortly after her historic win, Miss Montana, Heather O'Keefe, alleged that several contestants felt like there was some favoritism towards Miss Texas.
So I watched several of Miss Montana's TikToks, and
Oh, wow.
I believe Miss Montana is the lawyer, because I watch a lot of the contestants' feelings and TikToks about how Miss USA went down this year and things like that. And it's just, listen, Miss America and Miss USA are very different. Miss USA has the swimsuit competition. Miss America has the talent competition. Miss USA feeds into Miss Universe, which is where like all of the nations come together and compete.
But what we're talking about is Miss USA.
We're talking about Miss USA. Miss America.
Which one did Trump do?
Miss USA.
Oh, so this is like kind of the yucky one.
Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's the one without the talent competition. That's all I'll say. I was a talent girl myself, but my mom did win the swimsuit competition at Miss Oklahoma back in the day. So, whatever.
Said, all right, little Erica, we think we're going to skip the swimsuits for you. So why don't you learn to twirl this baton?
Yeah. They're like, listen, hun, those thighs, but you go practice your talent out in the yard. Go run around and do your talents.
Sorry. I just imagine you playing a recorder being like, I'm going to win it.
I did get a recorder. I loved The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the spaghetti Western with Clint Eastwood. So much that one of like my aunt or Nana, like they got me a recorder and I would try to like play it. Not musically inclined at all. But I would, goddamn, did I try and try and try. My family was like, that's so great. You should go practice in your room. They're so kind to listen to me try. Anyway.
What's the favoritism that they're thinking was shown to her?
So what they think is that in a series of posts on social, Miss O'Keefe, Miss Montana, says that the contest was rigged. The Miss USA contestants feel strongly that the favoritism shown to Miss Texas. So she pointed that there was a resort and spa in Mexico, which is a sponsor of Miss Texas, the winner, and also of the National Miss USA pageant. So there were photos of Miss Texas at this resort and spa, and so she won Miss USA, but she was also shown less than 24 hours after she was crowned at this resort and spa. So they're saying, no, babe. Why did she get to go to this resort and spa sponsored video? There was like videos of her getting treatments and stuff if she already received the treatments before she won. So she was there 9 weeks earlier. So she said she was allegedly flown down on United Airlines, which is a sponsor of both Miss Texas and Miss USA, in July to visit a sponsor of the National Miss USA and Miss Texas pageant. During an appearance on E! News, The Rundown, the winner, Miss USA, now Miss Texas, said she personally paid to fly herself down to Mexico for a promotional video as Miss Texas USA. But she says that there's also a photo of the Miss Gabriel, Miss USA, and Crystal Stewart, the president of the Miss USA organization. She said it looks like she was doing her hair, and then Miss Gabriel, the winner, said, unfortunately, it looks like what happened maybe before I won, but that was my official Miss USA headshot after I won. So she's saying the photo was taken before, looking like there was favoritism, One of the judges, was also a Miss Texas sponsor and judge, and a sponsor of the Miss Texas prize, was also a judge at Miss USA, has a photo with Miss USA. And so the current president says, as the first African-American woman in the leadership role, I take this position with seriousness and regard. When I won Miss Texas USA, Miss USA was most recently, when I won Miss Texas USA, Miss USA, and most recently became president of the Miss USA organization, many of women of color were inspired and filled with hope. I would not do anything such as rig the competition I fought so hard for. She says that these allegations are misleading and against everything I stand for personally and professionally. So basically, these contestants have had like meetings with the whole organization, stating how they feel. It's just
Yeah, it
embarrassing.
kind of sounds like in terms that maybe tell me if I'm wrong. Remember when it was like we were trying to figure out who was going to run against Trump in 2016 and like the two front runners were Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and like everyone was like, well, clearly like the DNC, like Debbie Wasserman Schultz or whatever, like
Mhm.
clearly they all favor Hillary Clinton. They're like, we don't favor Hillary Clinton. What are you talking about?
Mhm.
And then it like came out later that like they actually did favor Hillary
Mhm.
Clinton and
Mhm.
like did a lot to try to make Bernie lose. Maybe it's like that. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of they all say we're not attacking the winner as a person in any
We're
way.
just saying that whomever is Miss Texas will probably win.
That's what they're saying, but it still doesn't matter if you're taking a stand against the organization because half these fucking contestants that did not win the crown walked out on stage when she was being crowned. I
Oh,
don't
so
care
they're
if
really feeling hard
classless.
about
I
it.
don't care if you think she was sitting in the judge's laps during the contest. You fucking stand on that stage, you smile, you let her get her flowers and her crown and walk the stage, and then you walk off together in class. Walking off is that is the most disgusting classless thing I've ever seen. As a former
Really?
pageant, yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter if you're protesting the organization. It looks like
These
you're
pageants
protesting
don't fucking matter.
doesn't matter. It's classless. If you think you're the classy lady representing the Miss, it looks so shitty. And it looks like you are taking a stand against the person, a person of color, especially. And it looks like that. You can say all you want against the organization later in statements, but it absolutely looks like you said, oh, this girl won. I'm walking off. That's what it
And you
looks like.
feel strongly about this.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I did, but as a former Miss title holder, I feel as if I have to take a line, but it just looks shitty. Yeah, that's all.
I think
They
these
kicked
things
her
are
out of the
silly.
group chat.
I
They
think
kicked the
these
winner
things are
out of the group
silly.
chat. That's
These
fine.
are
Yeah.
silly. Take your stand. Do your fucking weird ass protest. Like
I know. Yeah.
you play the game though. I mean, like whatever. Like what'd you expect? I don't know. Like some whatever.
Yeah.
You're the expert, so let's call it trashy.
But they kicked her out of the winner out of the group chat. Start a new group chat without her. This is where it feels personal against her, not the organization. You know what I mean? That's where I'm like, feels like y'all can say it's not about race, but it feels a little about race, but whatever. Anyway, let's get on to the next story because there's nothing I love more than like when propaganda tries to be funny
Okay.
because it's like, okay, show me a propaganda where it scares me. That's what I like. But when propaganda tries to be like quirky, love. Anyway, that's what we're talking about in our next story.
Yes. So from onemileatatime.com, there's a Russian propaganda video about moving to the United States. Family flees Russia for the USA and then regrets it. So it tries to talk about like how it's worse to live in the United States than it is to live in Russia. They filmed it in an airplane cabin and has English subtitles, but it's in Russian. But yeah, it talks about it's like this family and they're moving to the US and the father's like, oh, I've been really need to do this for a long time. And, like the woman with them is like, yes, I'm excited. America's the freest country in the world, land of opportunity. But then the family learns the real reality of living in the United States.
Yeah. So the man starts to eat meat, and then the cabin stewardess comes and says, oh, I'm so sorry. The person behind you is vegetarian and it makes them uncomfortable. We're going to have to take that away from you. This is a principle of democracy.
There's also a woman who's seated in front of them who goes, hi, and this is my husband. And then that husband farts and sneezes while sitting down.
It's a woman. It's a woman. So she's, oh, this is my husband. a woman says about another woman, "This is my husband,"
Oh,
and they
this
fart and sneeze. Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking hilarious. There's
Yeah.
a line for the bathroom on the plane, and then a black man shows up and jumps the line and forces like everyone to let him go first because his people endured the oppression of white people for many years, and you all owe African Americans a debt. And so everyone gets on their knees and bows down to the black man, begging for forgiveness.
Yeah. The family is asked
Vibes.
to, yeah, yeah. The family is then asked to change seats to another part of the cabin because there's a child-free couple near them, and the child is being in the field of vision makes them uncomfortable.
So, anyways, this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
As a child-free couple, as of right now, I do get uncomfortable around children, and I do wish that they weren't around.
Yeah, that's fair.
I go to bars and stuff, and like every time that like we leave bars or we leave restaurants and stuff, and I always tell Taylor like, "Yeah, it was nice there. So loud though," and he goes, "I don't think we should have kids, honey." Because every time that I complain about a place being too loud, it's always a place where kids are. Or like I'll be sitting at the table, we'll be trying to enjoy people bring kids to breweries all the time, and we go to breweries, and so like you see these kids running around, and you'll just catch me like side-eyeing these fucking kids running around like zoo animals. And he'll go, I really are, Cass, I don't think that we should have kids. You really don't seem to like them. So that part feels accurate, I think, you know?
It's I think it I think something happens in when you have a child and like some pheromone is released where you like get blindness and you like, I love my child.
Sure. You can just, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on everybody who has
No,
kids. Like,
no.
good for you. You're fighting the good fight. I just like, what is it like? I don't know. I can't speak to what it's like to live in Russia, but I do know they're in a war, and that their men are getting drafted into the military against their will. So, I mean, you got one hand of the scale, get drafted into the military against my will, or have to be near a farting, sneezing lesbian couple where one of them identifies as the man.
I was reading reports, like not to talk about any of it, but like these like 20-year-old Russian kids like were getting captured by like I think like Ukrainian citizens or something. And they were like, "Can I call my mom? She doesn't know where I am." Like they were like kids, like 19, 20-year-old kids, and they were like, "Can I just call I don't need to call my like general or sir, lieutenant, or I don't know the ranks," but they were like, "Can I call my mommy?" I was like, "God damn it, this is horrible." All of it. But
the Russian embassy in Spain published another propaganda video with the caption "Time to move to Russia." It lists various reasons why you should move to Russia, including delicious cuisine, beautiful women, and the beautiful women is showing an image of children, so that's weird. Cheap gas, rich history, world famous literature, unique architecture, fertile soil, another picture of kids. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Soylent Green is people.
Cheap electricity, water, ballet, cheap taxi, delivery, traditional values, Christianity, no cancel culture. Well, that doesn't make sense. Hospitality, vodka, and an economy that can withstand thousands of sanctions. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian nation, traditional values, and you arrest people for being gay, doesn't that also count as cancel culture?
Oh, no. That's holding up the Christian values.
But you're canceling someone for being anti-Christian.
Oh, no. They can still be Christian, but they're breaking the laws of Christianity. So we're going to arrest and persecute them.
Gotta be honest with you. Doesn't seem like Russia's a great place.
Oh, the math ain't mathin'. But the video ends with a phrase that says, "Don't delay. Winter is coming."
You guess what that means? Like Russia's about to get really fucking bad.
Yeah.
That's what
they're-
winter is coming means.
Yeah. Ugh, don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah.
I don't like it at all. Let's go back to a Chinese art museum.
Yes, let's go back to the art world. It's much more even if it's cutthroat and aggressive, it's much more beautiful there.
So, according to BusinessInsider.com, an art expert has been fired after he valued a Chinese vase at 1900. Oh, sorry, excuse me. After he valued a Chinese vase at $1,950 that sold at an auction for nearly $8 million.
It's almost as if all this shit's arbitrary and we put value as imaginary. Anyway, but
That's like being like, I'm going to fire my accountant because he told me not to invest in Bitcoin. But then after the Super Bowl, Bitcoin was worth $30,000 a coin.
yeah. An art expert in France has been fired from a prestigious auction house after valuing a Chinese vase 4,000 times less than its sale price, according to The Guardian.
Many people made the journey from China to France to see the blue and white ornate porcelain vase decorated with dragons and clouds. And then the buyer bid by phone. He was from China and nearly 8 million. Crazy.
Yeah. He lost his job. The expert made a mistake. One person alone against 300 interested Chinese buyers cannot be right, said the owner of the auction house.
Well, what are you fucking worried about? You still got your $8 million.
Yeah, but if he's making mistakes, if he's overinflating value or underinflating value, he was working for us. He no longer works for us. It, after all, was a serious mistake.
I mean,
You ever mess up at your job that bad?
no,
Yeah,
I guess not.
Yeah.
The person who was selling this was surprised.
Yeah.
Because she said that her family used to just put flowers in this vase, like no big deal. But it's not super clear why this buyer paid so much for this vase. Like, which then again, like, why are we firing the guy if we don't know why it's so expensive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's again, if he's making this mistake to undervalue, is he overinflating other stuff and they're buying stuff for 4,000 times what it's worth? You know what I mean? Like if he fucks up on this, what has he fucked up in the past? Is he going to fuck up in the future? You know what I mean? Like if this guy's skills are off,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is going to cost them a lot of money, you know?
Sure.
That's all. So it's like, all right, go get a job.
All right. Well, then let's talk about someone who's doing like a good job.
A good job?
Oh. Shoot. Do we not have a story like that?
No.
Do we have another bad job story?
Yeah.
Ah, dang it. This is Trashy Podcast after all.
Yeah.
Not
From
happy podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless your whole town is Third Eye people from NBCnews.com. A Vermont. Nope.
Vermont.
Vermont. A Vermont town employee quietly lowered fluoride in water for nearly 4 years. So in Richmond, the water and waste superintendent said he reduced the fluoride levels because of concerns about changes in it to its sourcing and the recommended levels.
So residents of a small community in Vermont were blindsided last month by the news that one official in their water department quietly lowered fluoride levels nearly 4 years ago, giving rise to worries about their children's dental health and transparent government, and highlighting the enduring misinformation about water fluoridation. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not super familiar. So we want fluoride in the water, right?
Yes, it strengthens the people. So fluoride, the people that don't want it, it's a mineral. It occurs naturally. It's released from rocks in the soil, water, and air. So water does contain fluoride. It's usually not enough to prevent tooth decay, but it's added to the drinking water as a public health measure for reducing cavities. People block fluoride because they think it hardens your third eye, I think. So
what?
yeah. So Okay, so yeah, here's the crazy website that I found. Okay.
Yeah, give me the tea on this.
Yeah. So fluoride, according to this crazy website, not only affects bone and teeth, it also impacts young children in the development of the brain. Exposure to fluoride before birth could lead to poor cognitive outcomes in the future. Okay. So basically, they also think that it can cause joint stiffness and pain, blah, blah, blah. It's all
But
crazy
that's not
talk.
true.
Yeah, it's all crazy talk. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like there's like an anti-vaccine community for fluoride, and
Yes.
this guy was a part of it and took it upon himself
Mhm.
to like he's like the guy who like drove his truck over a bunch of states to stop Pizzagate. Like this conspiracy went too far for him, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Here you go, everybody. You're welcome."
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can find a bunch of crazy websites that have all this.
Is this
Yeah.
illegal?
Yeah,
What
it's
he did?
highly, yeah, it's
So
illegal.
he,
Yeah.
so he going to jail?
I hope so. Yeah, because I mean it's a government mandate. And he just was like, no, I think it's different. Okay. Then unfluoride your own water. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but so a mother went to the dentist and found that her two kids' first cavities. She acknowledged they eat a lot of sugar, but noted that her dentist recommended against supplemental fluoride because the town's water should be doing the trick. She said, it's the fact that we didn't have the opportunity to give our informed consent that gets me. She thought that they were meeting the state standards for water on fluoride consumption. So, fluoride has come to public drinking water systems in routine in communities since the 40s and 50s. So, yeah.
Interesting.
You know, Cass, I feel like last week we had a lot of talk of cheating.
Yes.
And this week we have the most serious allegations of cheating, which is voter fraud.
Oh my God. Where?
Well, not the midterms, but the serious election that's coming up, you know?
Are you talking about Fat Bear Week?
Yes, the most serious election of our time.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get an article from Mashable and Rolling Stone then.
I mean, it's been covered by NPR, Mashable, Rolling Stone, everywhere. It's covering Fat Bear Week, you know.
National Park Service detected a spam influence in the semifinal round of its annual tournament and is taking steps to ensure election integrity. You do your good work, heroes.
Thank you so much. Interested parties will get to weigh in on the final voting for Fat Bear Week, an annual tournament competition between the brown bears of Brooks River and Katmai National Park, Alaska. The popular online event asks people to observe just how chunky features certain bears have become while storing up fat for the long winter hibernation. And over a series of matchups, elect the one they believe has made the more impressive gain in girth.
So this has like a March Madness style bracket that educates people, you know, on like what bears have to do and how they've adapted to harsh environments and how they survive it. And, you know, it's just a fucking fun thing. Okay. It's wholesome. It's innocent. It should be trusted.
Yes.
It should be transparent. It should be nice.
Without manipulation.
And what do people do?
All right. So in the semifinals between Roly Poly Bear named 435, nicknamed Holly, and plain sized bear 747, someone had attempted to game the results. The park announced on the attempted election fraud on Twitter. So it's terrifying.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, is democracy intact?
So the spam attack was apparently made in order to give Holly the unfair win, even though the legitimate results clearly show that 747 had the victory.
So 747 was winning, leading in votes the whole day and by quite a substantial amount. And it's like, all right. But when there were just a few hours of voting left, we noticed that Holly received over 9,000 votes in a very short amount of time. It was the speediest and most significant comeback the NPS had seen in Fat Bear Face Off and immediately drew suspicion. It's not like
This
Holly
is-
was knocking doors, you know what I mean? Like doing like a last minute press junket or like,
like
she didn't release student loan debt in the last day leading up to the election.
this is someone who's like lost everything, okay? Like I gambled away my kids' college funds. I'm about to lose the house. My wife already left. And someone goes, "All right, well, let me give you two options. Number one, Squid Game. Number two, if you don't want to do Squid Game, number two, I'll give you a chance to win it all back." And he goes, "All right, what is it?" He goes, "I have reason to believe that 747 is going to win Fat Bear Week.
Mhm.
But if he doesn't, I'll give you back everything."
Mm.
Because why else would someone rig Fat Bear Week if it wasn't for fucking gambling?
Yeah. 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 No, I really think that like some deranged person is sitting there looking at this. This is all he has. Again, kids have left, wife has left,
Mm-hmm.
job is on the just barely holding on. He's on a performance plan, improvement plan,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and has been for like 3 years. And they're just like, we can't really
I feel
fire
bad
him.
for him, yeah.
We just feel we can't really
He's
fire him.
got tenure, but he shows up to class drunk every day.
Yeah, yeah. This is all he has, and he's like, and he picked Holly, and he was like,
Mhm.
Holly's my girl. She's gotta win. Because
That was my wife's name.
That was his wife's name. He sees something in Holly. It's
Yeah.
like if she wins, he wins.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
needs this.
He needs a win.
He needs a win.
And then 747 just started getting huge. And they're like, oh, well, time to have an internet spam campaign and pull this win out in the last second. Who can I call? Roger Stone?
Now he's going to jail.
Imagine if Roger Stone was involved, though.
Honestly, I might explode. Like the joy coming from my like I might like like in shows when people just burst into like starlight and explode. Like that might I might be the first person that died from exploding of starlight. So the cheating came from new votes had been generated via many fake email addresses coming from several IP addresses. Filtering out votes from those IP confirmed that 747 had bested Holly, but to her credit, she was the 2019 Fat Bear Week champion. So she had a win under her belt, but
okay. So she had some odd, like the odds weren't too bad, but
yeah,
they just didn't realize how big 747 was about to get.
But they installed a CAPTCHA for the voting to its system in order to create a barrier to stop fraudulent voting. All right, cool.
Can you believe you just have to like everything? You might as well just put a CAPTCHA on everything. If Fat Bear Week isn't sacred, what is?
What is?
You know?
Yeah.
You know what's not sacred anymore? Pico de
Pico de
Gallo.
Gallo.
Are you ready for our dumpster fire, babe?
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, it's time for the dumpster fire of the week. Oh my God. So all over the internet, but we're sourcing from bonappetit.com. We're, of course, going to talk about the Great British Bake Off's Mexico Week. Great British Bake Off, fantastic that it is now a Netflix property and we get new episodes every week rather than having to do what we used to have to do, which was find some way to get it off of the BBC, or we had to wait. I don't know. Great British Bake Off. I was in like a Facebook group, like sharing like black market links to get like regular Bake Off, like up-to-date Bake Off, rather than having to wait for the whole season to air and for it to go on Netflix. But those were dark times. But yeah, they did Mexico Week. This one of the by the time you're reading or hearing this, there'll probably be another episode, but it's like episode 3 or something like that, Mexico Week. And didn't go over great.
Here's the thing. Spain is right there. You holiday in Spain. You know, it's like a 30, 45-minute flight. Like, why not use something on the continent? You know?
Like they do different weeks, you know, like here's what fucked me up is they've done like different types of cuisine. They do Italy week. They do things like that. And I'm like, do they fuck up those weeks as hard as they fucked up Mexico week or
Mhm.
what? Like, I don't know what implored them to do this. But okay, so right off the bat, immediately out the gate, you've got your two hosts, Noel Fielding and Matt
Lucas.
Lucas, and they're wearing serapes and sombreros. So right off the gate, they're dressed like fucking Speedy Gonzalez, and they make a quick, "Hey, we probably," or they say, I don't feel like we should make Mexican jokes because people will get upset. So they're putting it out there,
Yeah.
like,
Great.
"Hey, I think we're being racist already," and then they make a joke about how the name Juan sounds like one. So right out the gate, okay, put your seatbelts on, everybody. We are potentially in for a problematic ride.
Buckle up. The British are doing Mexico week. And they have a sensitivity about other people's cultures.
Famously, I don't think we can really come at them so hard because they were mispronouncing things, because they do have an accent, although it is upsetting to hear someone call Pico de Gallo Pico de Gallo without abandon.
Yes. To be fair, when I first moved to California and the first time I saw El Pollo Loco, I was like, El Pollo Loco.
Yeah, I mean, look, some people don't know that the two L's doesn't it doesn't sound like two L's.
It didn't even register that it was that, like, a Mexican restaurant. So I didn't even think that the double L would be the one. I was like, oh, I wonder what that kind of place is like.
I think what got me the worst is that, do they not have avocados in like Britain at all? Because they called guacamole guacamolo. Like, oh, you have to put it on guacamole on your tacos. And then one woman peeled an avocado like how you peel a potato.
The image haunts me in my dream, like the movie Barbarian imagery haunts me.
I
don't even eat avocados. Can't stand the texture taste. But to see her peel it.
Yeah, it's gnarly. This isn't their so this isn't their first like kind of half-baked episode, because they did a Japan week in season 11 that kind of had some heat. In season 9 they made naan bread
instead of just naan.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's where they messed up. Is that, yeah, it's called naan, but they kept calling it naan bread. And then there's, of course, Paul Hollywood's famous plated bread, or platted bread, because they whatever braid, which is just obviously challah.
Yeah.
It was funny. Did you watch it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it. And
I
was
love
like,
this show. But
I do too. Yeah. It's like,
just,
I wish they would have kept, they stopped doing the history segments detailing the origins of the episodes. They traveled to the Netherlands to learn about the origins of stroopwafel and the 15th century methods of baking bread pudding inside sheep's guts, which is fun. And I wish they would have done stuff like that still.
Yeah, I would much rather learn more about like some of this random stuff that they have to bake. I mean, none of this was random on Mexico week, but like, there are things that I'm like, I've never heard of that before. Like some 14th century French like cake, where I would rather hear history about that than being like, on the weekends, Chadwick likes to go with his boyfriend to the lake and their little dog Snoozy.
Fun, but I don't give a shit. I want to hear about like the origins of like when the Spanish colonized Mexico, like what the infusion of flavors and ingredients were, and like what the natural, what the native ingredients were. I want to know that.
Show, not a people show, a baking show.
Yeah.
So their signature challenge was they were just supposed to make pan dulces, which pretty much everybody made conchas, which, like pan dulces are just Mexican cakes, but everyone made those concha breads, which is not the only Mexican cake out there, but certainly the most popular. For their what's the fuck is it called when they do the hidden one?
Oh,
the technical.
Yeah.
So their technical was just to make tacos.
But they did. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it is a little bit cool to pronounce, but they called it tacos, like tacos.
Yeah, they
But yeah,
didn't.
it's like grilling steak and making, yeah, it wasn't very baking, you
No,
know?
like all they had to do was like just make the tortilla, right? But like
Yeah.
that's not baking. That's just anyways. And then their showstopper was to make tres leches cakes, which everyone made like I've never seen a tres leches cake that was like a 7-layer cake.
Or pink, or yeah, I was like,
People
what's
were making
happening?
like wedding cakes.
Yeah. I was like, no, what's happening? Yeah.
One of the contestants put a mustache on their cake, and that made it Mexican, I guess. And a lot of the whole things, Prue, the judge, says every time that someone brought out cake that was colorful, she was like, "Well, that looks nice in Mexican because of its bright colors." Like this was a gnarly show.
Yeah.
They could have stood to maybe done a little bit more research. That's why I'm wondering. I'm like, is it this bad with all the other times that they
Right.
do other places? I just don't know enough about Japan to see what the problem is or whatever.
And like, I mean, they bring up a salient point in this article of like, Jalisco is very different than like Oaxacan food. You know what I mean? Like they could have really
Yeah.
brought up all the different states in Mexico, and just kind of how like the baking kind of differs across the different states in Mexico, and like how those are all very somewhat distinct from each other. Like that would have been interesting to have been like learn a little bit about that, like I don't
I
know.
mean, the argument for this, of course, is that they're going to start exposing more British people to Mexican culture, and maybe it's just a bit of a bumpy road to get there. So, but you know what? Like, as someone who is not Mexican, I can't truly speak to the depths of
Yeah.
whether or not this was good or bad. All I know is that it was cringy and I giggled a few times. So if
Yes.
I think we can definitely declare that it was trashy.
Yes.
What are you hoarding, my trash queen?
Okay, I'm hoarding a show on CBS. It's on its second season. It's a remake.
CBS.
Hear me out.
Whoa.
It's a remake of a British show,
Uh-huh.
Ghost.
I feel like my partner's mom was like, "Hey, Ghosts is funny."
It's really charming. So essentially, a young couple inherits a house in upstate New York, and they want to turn it into a B&B, and it's haunted by ghosts. But you're like, okay, they live separate lives, ghost, not ghost. But one of the new owners of the house falls and almost has like, she has a brush with death, and then is now able to hear the ghost because she's broken the barrier between the living and the dead, because she was technically dead for like 3 seconds or whatever, or minutes or whatever.
But she can't see him?
Oh, she sees and hears them, but her husband
she sees and
can't.
hears him. Okay.
But her husband can't. So now she kind of like is going between, she sometimes has to interpret for her husband and be like, he's like, are they in the room right now? And she's like, yes, and has to say like who's who, but they're from all different, they've all died at the property that they're on. So it's like people from, from the 1,000 years ago, like a Viking. There's like a Native American that died like 500 years ago. There's one of her distant relatives that was like a robber baron. And then there's just all sorts of people that have died on the property throughout the years. And it's really, really funny and charming. And there's like the downstairs people in the basement that died of like cholera that are just like disgusting and like, but and like the Viking is like loves TV, and there's a show about Vikings. He's like, we didn't wear that, it's just really charming. There's like an old jazz singer, and she's like, I think I was murdered, and she's like, no, you just died. But then it's like, oh no, wait, we think she was murdered. It's just there's a guy who hates Alexander Hamilton. They were like rivals, but he's just a nobody in history, and he's like, whatever happened to that guy, now that he can talk to a living? And she's like, oh, you're going to want to sit down for this. And tells him about it. It's so funny and so charming. I really, really like it. It's really funny. Yeah, it's on CBS, but it pushes some boundaries, I'll say.
Wow.
And guess
All
what?
right.
It's not a Chuck Lorre show. So
Hey, that's nice to hear.
yeah, it's really great. It's
No laugh
again, but
track.
it's based off a British show Ghost. So it's really fun. Yeah. What are you
Cool.
hoarding?
Have I already hoarded Reboot?
I don't know. I feel like we've talked about it. I don't know if you've hoarded
Like,
it.
was it in our like, was it the two of us, or was it, that's what's
Mhm.
tough. All right. Well, I don't know if I've hoarded Reboot, so I'm not going to do it again, but unless
Watch
I
it.
haven't. Watch Reboot on Hulu, okay? But I'm going to hoard Welcome to Wrexham.
Yes.
Really, really cute show. So Ryan Reynolds, the actor, and Rob McElhenney, the other actor, he's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
The two of them, this is like a real life thing. They're not playing characters. This is real life docu-series. They bought a soccer. They bought a team in Wrexham, Wales.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of the story, because like this team is like stuck in like the lower leagues. Everything I know about soccer is from Ted Lasso.
Yes.
So this team is stuck in the lower leagues and they want to move up, and this community in Wrexham just kind of, I guess, reminded Rob McElhenney of like growing up in Philadelphia. And
Mhm.
yeah, so they bought this team, and it's just the story of that and how they're working to improve it and like everything that's going along with it. And it's not all about the actors. Like a lot of it is about the town and the players. And then they also have they have like some specialty episodes where like suddenly the whole episode is done like a sports center. I don't know. It's a really cute show.
Yeah.
And they're only like 28-minute episodes or 20-minute episodes. I don't know. I recommend it. I think it's fun, and you find yourself like, if you liked Ted Lasso, you should watch this because now you're a soccer expert like me. But also it's just like in the big sea of docu-series that are all about murder.
Mhm.
It's nice to just watch like two funny actors who use their money to, yes, buy a sports team, but also like just how it positively has influenced this community. And
Yeah.
it's cool, and it's making me really want to travel to Wales. And
Yeah,
like,
me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you're watching it.
Yeah,
It's
I think the
fun.
charming thing too is like the fans. It's like partly it's owned by like the club is owned by the fans,
It
and so
was.
but they had to make a commitment to they had to get on a Zoom, and the fans were able
Yeah.
to ask them questions like, is this some kind of stunt? Like, are you going to do mismanagement? So they had to like make it was like a 35-year commitment of the like not being able to sell the land in the club or something like that.
Yeah, this
like
team means a lot to
the
this
town.
Like,
Yeah.
so and again, this isn't scripted, like it's real. So I really like it. I recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's
And it's on
like
Hulu.
their social media has increased like hundreds of times
yeah.
over. Like,
Oh yeah.
like 400% growth on all their socials clubs. Like they've just, it's done a lot. And you can tell like Ryan Reynolds is, regardless if you think of an actor, he's a marketing genius.
Oh my
like
God,
a
he's
marketing
great.
genius. I just think it's charming, and they care about it, so I think it's fun.
Really cute show. What are you throwing away?
I'm throwing away, when you sign up to get a promo code, a discount. That's how people get you in for marketing. You're on their email list forever.
Mhm.
Now they're savvy. They've moved to this model of having to give your email and cell phone to get the 20-30% off when you first sign up. And it's like, go F yourself. Are you kidding me? So now you have to like confirm subscription to get text, get the promo code, then unsub from the email, unsubscribe from text. But they're onto us. They're onto us, cheap bitches. And it's really annoying. I used to be able to have a million ghost emails to get a promo code. And then
you're going to have to start getting some burner phones.
I got to start buying cell phones to get all these discounts.
Yep.
Yeah. It's quite unpleasant. So I don't care for that. I just want your 20% off, 25% off for signing up, and then I'll never use you again. Goodbye. But that's I'm throwing it out anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you throwing away?
Oh God, saving for a wedding. I'm so tired.
Oh,
Dude, this shit is expensive.
Yeah.
We like went over our budget again this morning, and it's like there's not even things on there that we're like, oh, this is pretty frivolous. Like maybe we could cut this. It's like
Mhm.
just the base minimum things that are expected from a wedding.
Yeah.
A DJ, a bar, a venue, flowers, like a dress, like all this kind of stuff. It's just it's a fortune. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like if you know me personally, shit, even if you don't, and you're like, hey, like let's hang out, you're gonna have to talk to me in April because the
Mhm.
next few months I have to just stop spending money. And so when I come out of this, I'm going to be so rich and so skinny and so boring. Like that's going to be
Yeah.
those are my 3 adjectives. Like how would you describe yourself? Like for the next 5 months, it's skinny, rich and boring. I am looking forward to April when I can go back to being fat, paycheck to paycheck and fun at parties.
Title
Where
of the
can-
episode: Skinny,
Yeah.
Rich, and Boring.
Yes. Okay. Where can the people find you? I'm dying to know.
Oh my God, you can find me at Iconic Erica Curry on Instagram, and same handle at Iconic Erica Curry on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
You can find me at Gilligal on Twitter. It's private for just, it's a secret for just you and I. And then you can find,
Your Twitter's private?
no, it's just like I don't have my full name on it. So it's kind of like
Word.
if you're
Okay.
in the know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah.
If you know, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Cass Cardenas on Instagram, Twitter, and you can find this podcast at Trashy Trashy Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That's the name all across the game. We also have a website, trashytrashypodcast.com. We have an email address, trashytrashypodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us reasons why you're trash, send us stories. We love that. We also really love when you guys give us 5-star reviews. We've been seeing them. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it. And we really, 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 really just love the shit out of our listeners. Truly.
This is the reason why we do it. It's truly, it means everything.
We ain't getting paid. We ain't getting paid.
Girl, I lose money on this podcast, but it's a joy.
Money. Time
it's
is money.
Joy to lose money on this podcast.
Yeah, you make it all worth it.
Hey, Gas.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.